Hey Andre, have you ever lent your pickup truck to a friend to help him move or to help him use it in some way that you as a truck owner were happy to help?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, last year I lent my truck to Matt and also my friend Mike. I'm glad to help.
Well, in this video, guys, we're going to answer the most burning question of all. When truck owners lend their trucks to their buddies, what brand of truck owner is more or less likely to lend you his or her truck? Because our advertiser, American Trucks, did a survey where they asked truck owners all these interesting questions about, well, do you lend your truck to your buddies? Which brand owner is most likely to lend their truck, and which brand owner is least likely to lend their truck?
Or if they're annoyed or not annoyed
Yes.
when you ask them that question.
And even what kind of music they listen to. So let's delve into this burning topic that many of us have been wondering about for the last 10 years. So what are some of the results that they found out? So which truck owner brands are most likely to lend you their truck, and which owners are least likely to do it?
This is according to AmericanTrucks.com survey. 77% of pickup truck owners that they surveyed say they're annoyed when asked for help, with Honda truck owners being the most annoyed. Who are the Honda truck owners?
Why are they the most annoyed?
And by the way, I think they're assuming they're talking about the Ridgeline.
Yeah, and I think that probably plays into the stereotype, right? Because if you were to pick a truck that's the least truckiest, right? So if on the scale of truckiness, and I'm talking like, all the truck characteristics.
Big
like
bed.
Big bed, big diesel engine, big exhaust pipe, right?
Heavy payload.
Right? The Honda Ridgeline is the least on that scale.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a truck. I'm saying the stereotype is that it's like the truck for non-truck guys and gals. And this survey says that they're the least likely to lend you their truck.
And also, it also says that Toyota pickup truck drivers are the most likely to agree to help, and also Chevrolet drivers are the least likely to help. And Honda truck owners are the most annoyed.
All right. Well, that's interesting. So Toyota would be Tacoma or Tundra.
Yeah.
But with Chevy, it would be nice if they broke this down between midsize,
Colorado,
full-size, and heavy duty. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is interesting, and this has not happened to me because I've lent my truck out several times.
Yeah.
81% of pickup truck owners let somebody borrow their truck, just in general, and 81% had their truck returned damaged.
Yeah, that's a really good finding, actually. Now, every time we lend out a truck, which we do, right? What I worry about, and let me know in the comments below if this is something that you guys worry about. I worry about it being damaged, not because they're moving, but because the truck is larger than most people are used to driving. So I'll give you an example of that. I was, driving Stubby, which is relatively a small truck, right? It's a two-door kind of, regular, truck, mid-size, full-size truck.
Short bed,
full-size truck.
Yeah.
And I went to my favorite bagel shop, shout out to Moe's here in Boulder or Denver, and there was this very tight parking spot. And if you're not used to driving a truck, right, it's much harder to park that than, let's say, the Bolt that we just and there was a woman who I didn't know was sitting in the car next to me, so I'm like, I can get my truck in there. And then, of course, I'm being very, very careful, and she had the stink eye on me. She's like,
why are you parking here?
And I'm like, well, that's because that's the only parking space, and big trucks are harder to park.
Yeah, and so I helped my friend Mike move.
Yeah,
right?
What happened?
So Mike had a storage unit, right? He said, Andre, he has a Grand Cherokee. He's like, I cannot put, everything I own inside a Grand Cherokee. Can you help me? I was, of course, dude, I can help you. And then we had to move him into an apartment that had a garage structure. And I went into my truck, my F-150, right?
Yeah. And old truck now.
It's now. I sold it.
And if you guys want to know what truck Andre is buying next, we just did an entire video over at TFL Talk or All TFL, and we spilled the beans. So you can go over there and check that out and see what's his next truck, because it's coming soon.
Hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then I went into the garage structure, and my antenna started banging on the on the garage structure. I'm like, I think my truck is just big enough to fit through here. If my truck was lifted further, I would be scraping my roof on it.
When you lend your truck out, do you worry about like the bed getting damaged at all?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
because most of our beds are bed lined, right? They're super durable. All our trucks we own here at TFL are bed lined. So if there's a ding on top of the bed, I'm like, that's what a truck is for. But some of the other things like fender benders, right? You could touch something, parking, or you could damage your mirrors, right? You can slap the mirrors in. Those are things that are a little bit more hurtful.
Yeah, the thing that I also don't worry about, interestingly, is the tailgate. So I'll give you a story. We're about to sell our long-term Bronco, and we went from the soft top to the hard top, and I was taking the hard top in a Ram 2500 to storage, basically, at the ranch, and I put it in the bed, and I thought it was secure, but you know how that is. That's the other thing, right? You don't understand just how much wind pressure there is on anything in the bed. And as I was driving down the road, part of the soft top went and blew, and the metal bits hit the back of the tailgate on the outside and scratched them and dented them. And you know what? I don't care. I mean, that's what tailgates are for. So I don't care about beds or tailgates, actually.
Well, that first scratch is always the most painful.
Yeah.
But after the first scratch happens, you're like, that's it. We can move on.
All right. Well, what else did American Trucks figure out about truck owners?
Well, so it's also kind of the perception, right? What non-truck owners think versus what the actual truck owners do think. So, for example, some of the annoyance levels, and we'll have a link to this story in the video.
Yeah.
So if you want to drill down a little bit further. But they also talked about music.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. So they asked not truck owners what they think truck owners prefer. Number one was rock.
Okay.
Rock and roll. But the truck owners said their number one music choice is hip hop.
There you go.
I mean,
it's not my number one music choice, but then it's reversed, right, in the next one. So I guess that makes sense.
yeah. So and the least is reggae. Hey,
Or R&B.
what's wrong with reggae? I like reggae.
This may be more of a indication of what kind of music people like, as opposed to what kind of music truck owners like. Right?
I think it's mostly random.
Because I haven't listened to R&B for a long time, and reggae is like, you got to be on
On a boat.
on a boat in the Caribbean with some medical marijuana
Or non-medical.
or not in Colorado, exactly.
Well, so I turn on reggae when I'm thinking about the summer,
Yeah.
and going boating,
Yeah.
and it makes me feel good in the winter. So we have some data. I found this interesting over here. Take a look. It says they surveyed people about if they wash their trucks or not.
Yeah.
And Ram owners who responded said they clean their trucks the most. And Ford owners reported that they were doing it the least.
How about this one? This one's interesting. Over half of non-truck owners said they believe trucks are usually dirty, but truck owners reported cleaning their trucks an average of 4 times a month. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You think truck owners actually clean their trucks more than car owners?
Well, I think it's about pride in your vehicle, right?
I think it's about the type of truck you own or how you use it, right? So I would expect if you have like a bro truck, a brodozer, you're probably very fastidious.
Every
right?
day,
Every
you're
day,
probably polishing your wheels.
You ceramic coated. But if it's a work truck and
Right.
you're using it to haul, I don't know. let's say-
Manure?
Well, yeah, here in Colorado for sure, right?
Yes.
I don't think that truck is getting cleaned as much. So maybe it has to do with, and here's the biggest difference, right? That I think most people understand intuitively, but don't think about, and that is that the trucks do come in those two different categories, right? They're like pleasure trucks and they're work trucks, because trucks are, as Rams likes to say, the biggest tool in your shed,
Yes.
or biggest tool in your toolbox.
Absolutely.
Whereas cars usually don't come as tools, right? They're more or less personal transportation. They
Yeah.
can be used for commercial reasons,
Sure.
but not as much as trucks. And that's really where the difference is.
Yeah, and I think maybe non-truck owners think, a truck is a work truck. But over the last couple decades, trucks have become family vehicles as well, right? So a lot of them are nicer, they're more luxurious. I wash my truck quite often, partially because in the winter, right? All the salt that's on the pavement, all the ice and snow, I want to wash off, right? So I'm always under there, kind of trying to wash it off. And
Like I have with my trucks, I always have like kind of this dual thing about washing it, right? I really care about the inside and I care about the outside, but I'm not too stressed by the bed. Right, so
Yeah, 'cause the bed is like-
so I'll wash it out, but I won't really work hard at it.
Right.
So like I carried some hay in the Hummer. Don't ask me why, and it's still
Wait,
in there. Yeah, it's still in that. It got everywhere. It just went.
were you feeding David's yaks or something?
It's a whole other story.
Okay, a
But
whole other
you
video.
put that hay in there, and it just
Okay.
goes into every crevice. And then I went to the
Yes.
car wash, and I was like, I crawled in there, and I was pulling out hay, and I'm screw it, it's a bed. Even in a Hummer EV, it should be full of hay. At least it shows you it's being used for something.
Yeah, totally. So let us know what you think. If you're a Honda Ridgeline owner, let us know. Are you annoyed when somebody asks you for help? Or any truck.
Well,
for that
what I
matter.
would have loved to seen is like break it down by truck category: compact, midsize, full size, half ton or 3/4 ton. Because I think if you're a 3/4 ton guy or gal, right, you're probably less likely to lend your truck out. I would be less likely than if you're, let's say, a Ridgeline person. And simply put, I just feel like those big trucks, there's more like knowledge, technical knowledge that you probably have to have in terms of driving them, in terms of operating them, than you do like a Ridgeline, which is just like basically a SUV with a bed.
I heard a horror story.
Yeah.
Somebody lent out their big diesel pickup truck, and whoever loaned it put gasoline into it. Or sometimes they flip. DEF goes, in the green filler, and diesel
Yeah,
goes. And if you fill up your diesel truck with gas, that's not a good thing.
I have this fear that if you lend the Cummins out, right, you're going to get a phone call saying, "What's DEF and why won't my truck go?" Because it'll right if
Yeah,
run
where
out
did you
of-
put your DEF?
If you run out of it,
Yes.
it won't let you start it.
Right,
It won't,
right.
it'll actually keep you from driving it.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. There's a whole bunch of more expertise. Anyway, guys, like Case, right, with his old Cummins, right?
Yeah.
That thing ain't going to start without warming up the glow plugs.
Plus, it's a manual, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even know how to drive a manual transmission anymore.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
There you have it. Let us know what you think. This has just been a fun video. Obviously, this is not very scientific, but I think it's something that we've all thought about, and it's good to have actually some data behind kind of the intuitions or the stereotypes that we might have. As always, see you guys next time. And Andre, what truck videos have you got coming up?
So we have some fun stuff. I visited David.
Yeah.
A lot of you have asked to see more David. And
At the Yak Farm.
at the Happy Yak Ranch.
Yep.
And he's expanded his truck collection.
Really?
He loves old trucks,
Yeah.
but he's expanding it.
What did he buy?
You'll have to watch the video.
All right.
I can't tell you because it was a surprise.
Check out that video. Once again, alltfl.com. See you next time. Ciao.